Welcome to the Temple of Truth and Healing. I'm Tracy Andara Starloha, and I'm your guide through the sacred path of whole body wellness. Here we go beyond surface solutions to explore deep, root level health, body, mind, spirit, and soul. This is a space for truth seeking, transformation, and community. So share your thoughts and questions and reflections in the comments, and I respond and engage personally. And if this content is resonating, I'd love for you to like, subscribe, and share with anyone who's on the healing path too. Now let's dive into today's topic about womb-centered living, why your cycle is sacred. If you're a man, this relates to you, because if you have a mother, a sister, or a girlfriend or wife, you can learn more about their cycle and get in tune with it and understand the journey they're on a bit more. For all you women, this is a really good way to connect with your body more, to honor your energy and your different phases of your cycle so that you are aligning your actions in your life with your own state of being. The womb is a sacred portal for life. Every single person watching this was in the womb at one point and emerged to have their own life. So the womb is the foundation of the women's hormonal cycle. So it all centers around that. So why not live in alignment? The woman's menstrual cycle is a period of about 32 days long, and it has 4 key phases that are each characterized by a different energy because of the hormones that are being produced in the body. So we're going to go into each 4 phase and how to treat your body and what to be aware of at each phase. Your womb and your hormonal cycle is your source of power and sacredness. So it's really important to live a life that is aligned with that and honoring of that. It'll really give you a way to respect yourself more and have a more fulfilling, healthy life. So let's start with phase 1, which we call the menstruation period, or some women now these days are calling it their moon, because the moon is very connected to the menstrual cycle. It actually reflects it perfectly. So phase 1 is when we're bleeding, also known as the period or moon. This lasts about 1 to 5 days. And we often consider day 1 of our cycle to be the first day that we're bleeding. So what is characterized by the bleeding part of the cycle? This is a time when our energy is at its lowest, our body is detoxing, all the energy is moving downward to push the blood out. So this is a great time to rest, reflect, and detox. Resting with legs elevated at a 45-degree angle is optimal. Do it for as long as you can, a whole day or a half a day. If you have cramps, you can use a hot water bottle on your womb to soothe it. You can also take a THC as a healthy version of like sleep aid and cramp abatement, so I've used that successfully. Now I actually use Tylenol, which I'm not afraid to admit, it's not like, it's synthetic obviously, and that said, it's the only synthetic medicine I take, and it just helps to just relieve the cramps a little and just keep me feeling at peace. I only take probably 1 or 2 during my cycle. If you don't have any cramps, that's awesome. It means you're not really that inflamed and your flow is pretty even, and that's really healthy. If you do have cramps, there's a lot of different methods of eating and stuff that you can do to mitigate the cramps, like hydrating more, drinking less caffeine, drinking or eating a more anti-inflammatory diet. I've noticed the anti-inflammatory diet really takes cramps away. So those are some tips on cramps. And another tip for while you're bleeding is to not eat or avoid cold foods. So like smoothies, ice cream, like a salad that's just come out of the fridge. It's even raw food is not ideal for when you're menstruating, warm, like liquidy foods are the best for that. Now, even though I said that the energy is lowest and flowing downward, it actually, when you're bleeding, your body is resetting. So the first day is a very down day. And if you're really healthy, it might not be. You might get a burst of energy because when the cycle restarts, it actually brings new energy, and it slowly builds over the next 2 weeks in the phases I'll talk about soon. So that the reason I'm saying that is because eating foods is a very interesting part of the cycle. Your body's going to be more hungry at some times and more not wanting as much food at other times. And this isn't like a hard and fast rule. It's just something to observe and notice about your body. So from days 1 to 14, actually wanting to rebuild like the blood lining, because that's what you need to conceive a baby. So during those times, you'll actually want to eat more. So that's an important thing to note, that eating a lot is okay during this time, and it's good because your body's building energy and hormones and blood lining and all that through the next 2 weeks. I want to get back to more tips for bleeding because it's a very sacred thing in our lives. Actually, the word sacred is S-A-C, or sacrum, and red, like the blood. So the word sacred itself, it has to do with our blood. So that's something really important to preface before I tell you about our bleeding rituals. There's a lot of things you can do to honor your blood. There is ways to collect it, give it to the earth. You can even collect it and make a painting with it. You can collect it and put it on your face as a face mask. It's super oxygen rich, and so it's a nice cleaning thing for your face, natural cleaning product. I've tried everything. I've done collecting it in a jar, giving it to the earth. So that can be kind of time consuming and cumbersome, so just giving it to the toilet is absolutely fine too. What I've done though is learned how to free bleed, and this means that you're not using any tampons or Diva cups. Most women begin with tampons as a way to catch the blood or stop it from running down your legs. And that's fine. There's lots of good organic cotton tampons with like cardboard applicators that are good for the environment, so I highly suggest definitely organic if you can find it, and like an eco-friendly applicator if you're going to use tampons. I don't recommend using them. That said, if you have to, make sure they're organic. You don't want to put you don't want to put pesticides or chemicals into your vagina. It's just not, your whole womb area is not going to be happy with that. It could create disease in the long run. So the next thing that's a great option is called a Diva cup, and I'll link that below. It's a silicone cup that is reusable, and you just put it in and it collects the blood, and it's a great way to actually collect it if you want to make art with it or do some of the things I mentioned. Once you're done with the Diva cup phase, you can actually learn to free bleed, which your body kind of knows when to release the blood. It's like it knows that when you're going to the bathroom, that's when it's time to bring it out. And that's what I've learned to do. Granted, I do rest a lot during my moon cycle, and I'm not in a place where it's just going to fall down because I'm on my back, I'm horizontal. So when if I am going out, I have these great things called moondies, which my friend Sarah makes on Maui, and I will link her moondies below, and I would highly recommend getting a pair to help you navigate your moon time in a really like comforting way and letting yourself free bleed. I think this is the best way, and if you're going out into nature, that's a great time to just let yourself flow, right? The other thing I wanted to mention about giving it to the earth is that the earth really, it's like a nutrient for the earth. And for example, once I was in Maui at a really beautiful waterfall, and I was bleeding, and I watched my blood go into the river and I saw a little prawn guy come up and like eat the blood. So it's definitely an offering and a gift to the earth to give your blood back. So during this time, it's a sensitive time. It can be, you might want more quiet, more rest, and just more space. So I highly recommend to ask for what you need during this time. What I like to explain to my partner is it's like a mini birth. I'm giving birth. I, treat a woman the way you would while after she just gave birth, even though that's a way bigger deal. It's like a micro version of that. So, getting meals delivered to you or made for you is one way you could ask your friends or family or community to support you. Childcare, having your partner or your friends take the kids out for the day so you have some time to yourself to rest and reflect on your month. Around day 3, it's like you're ready to begin your new cycle and you've already done your reflections and you're resting. And this is a great time to set intentions. What do I want my next month to look like? What are my travel plans? What are my work plans? What are my goals for this month? So that you can really start to flow with your cycle and have this little encapsulation of time that's intentional. All right, we did the moon, the bleeding time. I hope you learned more about your body. And we're gonna circle back to the moon time and talk about foods to eat during that time, like specifically, but I'm going to go on to the follicular phase, which is phase 2 of the cycle. It's days 6 through 11, and it's like the waxing moon. If you're going to be mirroring it with the moon, it's when the moon is growing to full. And if you are a woman and you're listening to this and you don't have a menstrual cycle, that's okay. You can actually align all this stuff that I'm saying with the actual moon that is in the sky. So that can be your gauge of where you're at. And even men can do this too. So the follicular phase is called that because it's characterized by the development and maturation of ovarian follicles. The follicles, which are fluid-filled sacs on the ovaries, house immature eggs and are stimulated to grow by follicle-stimulating hormones. So follicle-stimulating hormone is what's most active in your body, and it's going to grow your egg sacs, your eggs, and everything that is associated. So like I said, this is a growth period. And like the moon is growing, and we are going to have, our energy is going to slowly build and grow during this week of time. So this is akin to the energy of action, motivation, and spring energy, like fire. This is a good time to start new projects, initiate projects. You have a lot more energy throughout the day for workouts. This is a time, like I said, to eat more. You're building, so feeding the body more is healthy. And this is a great time to, if you're going to do seed cycling, which is eating certain seeds that align with your hormones, this is a great time to eat the flax and the pumpkin seeds. So the first 2 weeks of the cycle in the follicular phase is flax and pumpkin seeds. The second half of the cycle is going to be sunflower and sesame seeds, if you can eat those. So this is a great time for travel and exploring and just like networking. That is the follicular phase. You're in more of your masculine energy. You're very direct. You're able to make decisions easily. You're kind of like more in your left brain, I think, is what your masculine brain would be, and more just like able to handle anything. So next we're going to jump into the ovulation phase, which is represented by the full moon, days 12 through 16 of your cycle. This is a really fun part of the cycle. It's where you're most full, most alive, most creative, most expressive, most magnetizing what's, most good in your life. You've got your hormones are like, hey, let's make a baby. So people are going to look at you more. You're going to be more attractive to most people. You're going to have that glow. So it's important to know that you're in your ovulation phase, because you'd want to practice more safe sex at this time. You just want to be mindful about who you're interacting with, and if it's, good energy between you. This is a time to conceive things. It can be conceiving an actual baby, which is probably rare. You're not going to be conceiving a baby every month. So if you're not doing that, it's a time to conceive ideas or projects, like what's wants to come through me, what wants to be birthed through me. So you can do a little ritual where you kind of tune into that. I personally like using sexuality as, like, you can actually use the sexuality of making a baby as a ritual to find what that is that wants to be conceived. You can masturbate and get some messages about that with intention. You can also just feel into like what's going on for me, what wants to be birthed. And hosting, this is a great time to be more social, host events, collaborate with people, and enjoy the juicy goddess energy of like overflowing motherly love, where you feel like you can give to everyone, and know that that's not all the time. Like, this is a sacred time of giving and overflowing, but all the other times of your cycle, it's not really about that. It's so just like honoring this aspect of the goddess and the mother is a really beautiful way to be aware of and celebrate your ovulation phase. Another thing you can do is commune with the moon. So the moon actually emits nourishing light. It actually feeds us on a literal level. So if you ever find yourself outside under the moonlight, just like really take that in and really absorb the nutrients from the moon, and know that that's like the energy you're bringing to your life, is this like nutrient rich energy that you're giving to your family and friends and community. So let's go into phase 4, which is called the luteal phase, or days 17 through 28 of your cycle. This is when the moon is waning or growing dark. This is a time of reflection, slowing down. It's representative of the fall season. Like the ovulation was the summer. I forgot to mention that. But so luteal phase is the fall season, the gusts of wind, the like turbulent kind of change energy. So this is when PMS happens, right? There's more stuff going on. And I love this. I personally love this time of the cycle right now. And there's a way to really align with it as a woman, because it is more of the feminine energy. And the feminine is not straightforward and clear cut. It's more like a river, like going back and forth. It's changey, it's flowy. So just knowing that is this time. And what I really want to highlight is the energy of this time. You're not going to have a full day's worth of energy to work like you would in the follicular phase. You're going to probably have your most energy in the morning, because that's when your testosterone is high and all your hormones are high. And then after 1 or so, you're going to notice that you're a lot more tired than usual, and that's normal and hormonal and natural, and it'd be great, and it's great to honor that by not pushing yourself to work too much and not going for another cup of coffee just to wake yourself up. It's more like just kind of let the energy settle and know that you don't need energy all day during this time, and just to be more of that, like a more receptive energy instead of a going energy. So the other energy of this time is like shadow work, or needing more space, like especially towards the end, but right before you bleed, you just characteristically need more space. You're processing a lot of your own shadow, and you're getting ready to clear out a part of you, which will be when you're bleeding. So so just knowing that, like, you don't have to do your normal social life or be like so active it's just a really time to just kind of go inward and kind of be with yourself more than other people. It's like really taking the space that you need. So you might notice you just need more space during this time, and that is perfect. That's exactly what you should take, is space, and just observe what's coming up and what you're feeling. And this time, the estrogen that was produced during the building phase or the follicular phase is actually has to be digested or processed in this phase. So you're not building anymore. You're actually clearing hormones that were produced in the first half. So this is when your liver is actually more taxed by processing all these hormones and clearing them. So that's why you're more prone to crying or this or that. It actually, around day 12 is when all the hormones start dipping and going into a new phase. And that's exactly when you'll probably notice you're gonna like have for your first cry day in 12 days. Days like 3 through 11, you're fine. You're like on top of the world. You're not emotional. But then once you hit ovulation and luteal, you're going to be more emotional and you're going to cry. And it has to actually do with the liver and it processing stuff. The liver is responsible for like crying. So being aware of this, you'll know to not eat as much during your luteal phase, to eat lighter, to, I actually will, I'll drink some teas or appetite suppressant teas during this time, so I'm not like eating a lot. If your workouts, like you can't push yourself as much during this time, so just be gentle, do more cardio and sweating, and your liver and your whole system will thank you for that. Like I said, the seed cycling this is a time to eat sunflower and sesame seeds. They will support your hormones at this time. And more emotional supportive activities are journaling, dancing, crying, cleaning, just kind of like purging, moving, letting the energy flow. So day 25 is like when I say the veils get really thin, you're kind of moving into the portal of birth, of letting go fully. And, or maybe it's day 26 or 7 for you because you're a longer cycle. But this is a time to really honor your energy. It might be really low and you might just need the most space right before you bleed. So just honor that. While I'm bleeding every month around day 1 or 2, I will mark on my calendar all my days of the cycle. I actually just mark day 1, day 7, day 11, day 16, day 21, 25, and projected bleed time. So I have it on my calendar and I know so I plan like my life around that. I'm aware that travel is better during like follicular ovulation, and this is a practice I've been doing for years, and it's really helped me to align my life with my cycle. I just wanted to touch on foods because that was a big part of my exploration. There's a really awesome woman named Elisa Vitti, I think is her name. She has a great book called The Woman Code, and it has a whole PDF that says what to eat at each phase of your cycle. And I love that because 1, it gives me new ideas for what to eat, and 2, it's just like supportive of the body. So one of the things I took away that I love most about that is the bleeding phase. To eat like buckwheat is a really good kind of porridge, breakfast type food, or you can make pancakes with buckwheat. You literally just soak them in water, blend them and fry them, and you have these amazing buckwheat pancakes. And so those are great. And then like I talked about seed cycling, and then there's other fun tips like during ovulation is the best time to eat chocolate or coffee. And I'll link the PDF to her guide in the description below, so you can try that out. The other thing I wanted to that I didn't mention about food is that when you're ovulating and right before you're bleeding, you're actually craving more carbs. I personally don't eat carbs, so maybe I'll fill up on something else, but the body is asking for something to just do what it's doing. So just, if you have any like body, like food eating sensitivities, like just know, like calories and stuff, just know your body does need extra calories to ovulate, for the egg to go down the fallopian tube and into the womb, and also to activate bleeding. So sometimes, like before I bleed, I'll be like, I need some pad thai, like, and just eat a whole thing of like noodles and it just really helps the flow. So be okay with like indulging in these specific ways at these specific times. And it's really fun to track your cycle, because then you know, like, oh, why is my body craving this? Well, it's because of my hormones and what they need. I also wanted to share that if you are having infertility issues, there is a lot of that going around with GMOs, with vaccines. I have a really great product called Clean Slate that reverses the harmful effects of those types of medical products. So reach out if you're interested in learning more about that. If you're struggling with infertility and you want to get pregnant, my coworker, her daughter was not being able to get pregnant for 4 years, and then she started Clean Slate and she was pregnant within 3 months. So I highly recommend that. And then also I have a really great formula for greens. Like, greens are good at replenishing blood, and it's called Relive Green. This has really, deep amount of greens. So if you're vegan or you just want like to make sure you're getting the proper nutrients to really replenish after you bleed, that's a great one. When you buy Relive Greens or Clean Slate through my referral code Springboard, 25% of the profits go to my nonprofit Springboard Connectivity, which is helping youth all over the world to get resources they need to learn and grow and have and to be better contributors in society. So check out Springboard Connectivity if you want to learn more, and remember to check out the Diva Cup and the Moondies in the description. Thank you for being here. You are sacred, your body is sacred, and when you live from that place, you become unstoppable. Tell me in the comments what you're going to start doing differently now that you know all this. You deserve to feel amazing every single day of your cycle. Blessings, and I'll see you in the next video.